Welcome to the Turd Nerds. We are the functional gastroenterology podcast discussing all things poop. Before we take the plunge into today's episode, let us tell you a bit about ourselves. I'm Dr. Rebecca Sand, a naturopathic physician and acupuncturist, and I specialize in all things gastroenterology, hormones, and fertility.
I'm Dr. Kapadia, and I'm a medical doctor trained in family medicine and functional medicine with a special interest in gastrointestinal health, food and environmental allergies, and autoimmune disease.
And I'm Dr. Ilana Gurevich, a naturopathic physician and acupuncturist who is board certified in naturopathic gastroenterology. I specialize in inflammatory bowel disease, IBS, and other functional digestive disorders. Let's jump into today's episode.
The following discussion is for educational purposes only and not intended to diagnose or treat any diseases or conditions. Please consult your doctor before incorporating any of this information into your care. The information presented on this podcast is not medical advice.
Welcome back, Turd Nerds. This is going to be the best episode ever because that never happens every episode that we release. So this episode was born when me and Dr. Kapadia were actually on a walk, right?
I feel like a lot of things are born out of your walks.
I mean, the walks are useful. My dog, first of all, is happy because we're walking long distances.
I'm happy because I like to walk.
I'm happy because I like to walk
Ilana.
And I like to gossip. It's ideal. But so everything started because I recently, when I was right around 12 and a half, I started having chronic GI pain, right? And it took my parents took me to gastro after gastro, and then the fifth one finally diagnosed me with Crohn's disease, right? This was a long time ago. My daughter is now 12 and a half, and she was complaining about a lot of GI pain.
I don't know.
And I did what I usually do, which is ignore it for a while. But like a year later, she's still complaining of GI pain. And then I was like, what the hell am I doing? I treat GIs for a living. I can do something here. Yeah. And so I ran tests on her, right? I ran SIBO.
What you should always do with your children.
I will say, on a positive, I am not managing her care. I was smart enough to bring her to the naturopath that's pediatric specialized to manage her care, but I knew what she was going to run.
Yeah.
And so I ran a stool microbiome test and I ran a SIBO test on her. And what came back was surprising to me. She was positive for SIBO and she had a protozoa. And she had a so this is our whole conversation. Okay. She was positive for SIBO and she had a protozoa within her GI, Dientamoeba fragilis. But the other thing is oftentimes our patients, if we're doing all of the workup, they'll be positive for SIFO, right? Fungal overgrowth. Yeah. They'll be positive for SIBO. They'll be positive for protozoa. Yeah. They'll be positive for parasites. And so me and Ami were discussing her and we came to this conclusion that we actually do things. There's different recommendations on how to move forward, right?
Like where do you start?
Where do you start?
With all this? Yeah.
Or do you start with everything together?
Yep. Just bomb it.
And so that's how this conversation was started. And so really what I wanted to have was a conversation with three of us who treat all of these complex GI conditions. And I will just say, as a side, I treated the protozoa and she has not complained of GI pain since I treated the protozoa. Right.
So, and that's a debatable protozoa by most standards.
Is that one still debatable?
Yeah.
Okay. That one is okay. So parasites, Giardia, Cryptosporidium.
Blasto.
No, that's a protozoa.
Oh,
Giardia, Cryptosporidium, and Entamoeba histolytica.
They're all protozoa, but Rebecca's saying you're saying those are the ones that are standard to treat.
We call those parasites, not protozoa. They're all in the protozoal drug class, but they are known to be more pathogenic.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So
I think that's what you meant.
So those are the three that are generally categorized as parasites in most GI stool testing. That's functional. Then we have the protozoa, which is like Endolimax nana, Endolimax.
So they're all I think you're trying to say those are the ones we know to treat. Right. They're all in the protozoa class.
Right.
But those are the ones that are recognized standard. These are a problem. We should treat it. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Proceed.
Dientamoeba fragilis does not fall under that category. It falls under protozoa. Some people would recommend treatment. There is clear guidelines on how to treat. Right. There is data on how to treat pediatrics versus adults. Yeah. But would everybody treat it? No, I don't think it'd be treated in the conventional world.
Yeah, I don't think it's standard of care. It's just like if you have diarrhea that's assumed to be not your problem, like you're probably missing something, but it can cause issues.
It was causing her a lot of issues. Yeah. So I guess when I am looking at stool testing, right, or functional testing, SIBO is not stool, CFO is not a stool test. I use this pyramid, right? So parasites and protozoa, I think I always treat first. Fungus, I will try to address second. Bacterial changes.
Like how you put I'll try to address it's so
fungus,
true.
I got
it's hard.
It's
a hard one.
Fungus is hard, and it takes forever.
Yeah.
Bacteria.
Also, people can't get off sugar.
Oh, I know, because sugar is so good.
Yeah.
Sugar is more addictive than heroin and readily more available.
Yeah,
I know. I think you just have to stay off of it. It's like any drug of choice.
It's a drug of choice.
Once you're back on a little
fresh
bit.
Fruit, fresh fruit, frozen fruit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ideally, and dark chocolate.
And honestly, that's what our ancestors had.
Yeah.
But not very
really
often.
I know. It was when it was in season.
I will also say, like, one of the things that shocks me is I remember in my childhood when I would eat grapes, like every 10th would be like a candy. Totally. You know what I mean? Like, but most of them are like a little bit sour.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I actually now I was raised on Pop-Tarts and Fruity Pebbles, so grapes were like vegetables.
Now every damn grape is like a sugar bomb.
They even make those cotton candy ones.
Yeah,
I can't even eat those
because they're literally just a sugar bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I just get diabetes thinking about those things. Gosh. Cavities.
Not as easy as getting diabetes from actual cotton candy, however.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I was talking to Ami about this, and she was like, well, there is a theory to treat everything together. Can you just talk about that?
Well, when my main mentor would treat everything together, but he was also using energetic forms of testing where you're picking up a lot of different things and using herbals. You're not using pharmaceuticals, So
Herbs
I think
are easier to do that.
Yeah, because they're broad spectrum and you can cover a lot of bases with using a couple products, So I think with what we've done typically is kind of like what you said, where if there's a protozoa to treat that because we can actually eradicate it most of the time. Fungus harder, you're not going to eradicate it, and that's not the goal. So you kind of work on that second. And then bacterial overgrowth, we all have different opinions. I would often see that as secondary to the other things. I know in a lot of patients you guys have had, that's the primary issue, or at least whatever you use to treat it seems to resolve the problem. We don't know if that was treating multiple organisms as well, or if it was really just the bacterial overgrowth. And probably sometimes the things we're using for protozoa or fungal overgrowth are treating bacterial overgrowth as well. So it's kind of like, because the problem is if you
anti-protozoals
have broad spectrum activity too.
Overlap.
So I definitely think it's good to treat the protozoa first, and then it's sort of like you have to figure out what makes the most sense with what's left.
So are we thinking that because protozoa are the most disturbing to the microbiome and the integrity of like the cellular integrity and all of that?
I think it's more just that I guess I would see other things more secondary, like downstream effects of the protozoa more often than the other way around.
I would agree. I agree.
And you can eradicate it because the drugs are pretty good for those if you make sure they're not having re-exposure.
Yeah.
So that was the main reason. And the other issue is like if you treat one thing, these other pathogens that are there might start taking up more space, and then the patient could have other symptoms, which sometimes they'll get worse and you've eradicated that organism you were treating, but they're having different symptoms or more symptoms. And then it's like, okay, what took up that space? I just got rid of a bunch of this one class of organisms.
Do you see a lot of die-off treating parasites and protozoa?
GI, but not like crazy systemic.
Not
usually.
like
I would agree. I agree that GI based, but not systemic. I also will agree. I will say it is so unreliable. Yeah. Like there are some people who are like, nope, no issue.
Right.
There are other people who like, I feel like you're giving me a chemotherapy drug.
Yeah.
And then there's everything in the middle. Interestingly, I treated, and we should talk about timing of treatment. I'll talk about my theory in a minute. But interestingly enough, the first course that I gave my daughter of the anti-parasitic antibiotic, like bad reaction, diarrhea, abdominal pain. She felt bad. I waited 2 weeks. We redid therapy.
Yeah.
The second round.
Was it a 3-day course?
It was it was supposed to be a 7-day. I gave her a 5-day.
Okay.
She was really suffering that first course. She felt bad. The second course, nothing. And she reported pain. So she was reporting pain to me. I mean, at least 5 times a week for over a year. Wow. You know, like she was and not like diarrhea. She had no red flags. She wasn't losing weight. She's growing appropriately.
Stomach pain.
Right. But she would have like fullness, bloating, distension, and abdominal pain like 5 days a week. And I was just expecting it to pass. And finally, a year into it, I'm like, we were having this conversation when we went back east last year. Yeah. Wait, this hasn't just passed, right? But the first course, I think that's when we were actually
We
killing stuff.
took care of it in the second course. There was nothing left to treat. So
Wow.
Okay, so when and how to treat.
Yeah.
A lot of patients will come in and say, can't you just give me something?
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, when we're talking about protozoa or parasites, there are very specific
Yeah.
drugs that treat very specific protozoa or parasites.
Yeah. And if
Like-
you have a couple.
And also, there is not one drug that covers everything.
right, unfortunately.
We need to know what you have,
Yeah.
so we know how
That's
to
why
treat.
the testing is so important for these cases. Yeah.
That's you.
Because then we can outline like what we're doing, how we're doing it.
Yes.
But if you don't know what microorganisms are there,
Yes.
you're shooting in the dark for a lot longer.
And
Yeah.
I, as a physician, I will not give you a random pharmaceutical
Yeah.
for something that I don't
Not a great
see.
idea.
It's not a great idea. We carry liability for
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
And it's not standard of care.
Yeah.
You know, like I need to
The only
see what I
time I've
find.
done that is if someone went to Mexico or abroad and they're like, this is
came
what
back with
happened the
friends.
last time I got this.
Yeah.
It's not showing up on the test. Can we just treat it? You know, when
I
they
know
have a
what
really
this
good
is.
story. I was hiking. I drank this bad water, that kind of thing.
Can I tell you guys a story that I
Don't
heard?
do
You
from
were
one of my
hiking and drank
patients?
bad water?
No, I had
You
a
wouldn't do
patient that
that.
I just saw, lovely patient, and she went to Peru and she was hiking in Peru,
Yeah.
and her water filter, obsessed, you know what I mean? Like water bottles,
Yeah.
obsessed with it.
Like we train our patients.
Like we train our patients, yeah, like borderline fear. She was in the airport and she was like, it was an overnight flight, so she was going to take a sleeping pill in the airport. So she asked somebody at the cafe to
For
fill up
some
her
water.
water bottle. Yep, she didn't even think twice about it because it looks like a Western
Yeah, it's
cafe.
like-
Yeah.
A day and a
Shoot.
half later, all of a sudden, all of that traveler's diarrhea kicks in, and she was in the middle of the night while she was having diarrhea and vomiting. She was like, the damn airport.
Yeah.
That's a really hot tip.
That's,
You
Well,
don't
you can
think
get
about that.
those life straw bottles where it'll filter it as you
Yes.
drink it, but I couldn't even drink you have to have like suction power to be able to drink out of that thing, and I could not. So that's an option.
my water filter, the one that I travel with and I go camping with, is like a cup on the outside, and then you push the water filter down in,
Okay.
and then you drink on the top, but you're only getting separated filtered water.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So that then you don't need the suction of
Yeah.
such strong mouth.
muscle, our muscle.
So it's muscle-
not your
exactly.
As opposed to suction
However,
power.
that one I can use my body weight.
Yeah.
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 I just don't go camping.
Oh, I love camping.
I stay in hotels.
The problem with hotels is
I
they
know,
still have Wi-Fi.
But you sleep when you're camping. I think about this all the time.
Yeah.
How the heck you sleep when you're camping?
I mean, I feel the first night's a little bit rough, but then you're hiking all day, you're outside, you're swimming in the lake, you're playing.
And then you go back to the hotel. You can do all of it. Stay at a hotel with filtered water. Anyway.
Assuming.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Depending.
Actually, no, not necessarily,
Depending.
right?
Most
No.
likely no.
But you could bring a filter to it.
It's true. You can bring a filter.
Yeah.
What do you know? What water bottle you have?
Grail.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
I think I had added it to the list.
Yeah, you did add it to
Okay.
the list.
Yeah.
On Dr. Kapadia's website, hot
Very
tip,
minimally
actually.
trimmed down website with minimal resources.
I think it's
But great.
It still has the
www.amikapadia.com.
it still has the
She
water
has
filter
under
handout.
her resources, she has an entire handout about water filtration.
Yes.
It's a very useful
yeah,
tool,
because
guys.
everyone was getting treated and they were getting re-exposed, and then we weren't telling them to filter their water, and we're like, why isn't it going away?
Yeah.
because you're not filtering your water.
Right.
Okay, so protozoa, you need to know the drug.
Yep.
Protozoa will absolutely change the microbiome.
Yeah.
Absolutely will change the microbiome. And it can predispose to a whole lot of other things.
Yeah.
So that one you have to treat. I don't have great track record treating protozoas without drugs.
Yeah.
Do you?
I mean, you can, but it depends on, it's like, it would depend where I was practicing, and like my mentors in different parts of the country would have success or not, depending on like if their patients were already eating really well, they weren't having re-exposure, they were treating everything. Whereas my other mentor on the East Coast would always use pharmaceuticals, you know?
Also, though, the herbs are rough. Like, they're rough to take. Antiprotozoal herbs.
Yeah,
usually
they are.
cause a
and
lot of side
they
effects.
really do.
The
Yep.
drugs
I mean, I think it
are
depends what you
shorter term.
use. Yeah.
I also don't have a reliability
Yeah.
with eradicating using the antiprotozoal herbs that we use most
Yeah.
commonly.
Right.
I think that there are lots of
Yeah.
antiprotozoal herbs that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot of reliability with the ones that we use commonly.
What about parasite cleanses?
I think it's better to just test and treat with the
They're
pharmaceuticals.
really, really
than-
trendy right now.
They are.
I'm
Yeah.
getting a lot of patients who are doing them and swear by them and really like them, but There's no data that I'm aware of.
I like to run comp metabolics because a lot of those herbs can affect the liver. They can affect the kidneys.
And if they stayed on
They're
it for a
not
long
benign.
time,
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean,
You got to be careful with that.
you
stuff.
do.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I'm pretty attached to is how I dose my anti-protozoal drugs. I'll never do just a 1 day or like a one and done. I will generally dose my pharmaceuticals around the new and the full moon.
Yeah.
Not because I have evidence, but because I've got a lot of
Because you're a
anecdotal.
witch.
Because I'm a witch. I mean, I definitely. there's no way I was not a witch in my last life. Was I one that actually had powers, or just one that was like probably fooling around with lots of the married men? I don't know. I was most likely burned at the stake. Yeah.
That tracks. And here you are now.
And here I am now. I'm
Even
doing
stronger.
okay.
Yeah.
And I still love the herbs as much.
That's right.
Just not for protozoa.
Yeah.
So the reason for that is because we know life cycles of protozoa are based on the moon. Just like women menstruate with the moon, or that we did before we had technology, protozoa will hatch on the new moon and lay eggs on the full moon. No, or maybe that's opposite. Hatch on the full moon, lay
Don't
eggs
look
on the
at
new
us.
moon.
We don't have any input
Okay.
into this.
So this is something that I always
We weren't
do.
witches in a past life.
Whenever I'm dosing any pharmaceuticals, I like to cover the full moon and the new moon, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm doing a longer 3-week course of meds, I'm covered. But if I'm not, if I'm doing like a 3-day course, I just do it the day before, the day of, and the day after the next upcoming new and full moon.
Yep.
I will also say, as you guys know, my parents are psychiatrists, and my dad, who's a holistic psychiatrist, would always be like, it's the full moon. Like anybody who's teeter-tottering on not doing okay, they're probably going to end up in the hospital this weekend. So there's something that those bugs do to our mental health and our physical health. Yeah. So I'm just going to cover it. So with Karina, I scheduled her for originally the full moon.
Yeah.
She got a lot of die-off. She didn't tolerate the pharmaceutical at all. And then on the new moon, she did fine.
Yeah. Weird.
Nothing.
How do you explain that one to patients?
Well, no, it's probably because it treated it the first
Maybe.
cycle, and you probably didn't need. There probably wasn't much left to treat the second round, right?
Maybe.
Hopefully.
How do I explain it to patients?
Yeah.
I say, okay, so now we're just going to discuss that you're in a naturopathic office and not a medical office, right? So
this is where things are going to get a little
weird.
weird.
This is where things get a little different. We're using the same pharmaceutical, but we're working it with it differently.
Yeah.
That's how I explain it. And then I explain with my dad, in his stories with all his patients.
I might use your dad for these explanations. I usually say, bear with me for the next couple minutes. Just stay with me. This is going to make me sound a lot weirder than I am.
Yes.
And there's a reason,
You're in the naturopath's office.
That's right. Yeah. But there's a reason. And why not? If you're going to take it for that course anyway, why not get weird about it if there's any chance it's going to work better? There's no harm.
So now my question is, she's doing a lot better.
Okay.
What do I do about that other finding that I had?
Are you going to retest?
I mean, I could.
I mean, if she's doing better, I don't think I would retest.
Yeah. I'm not sure I want to retest either.
Yeah.
And the trick is, I will say, so, she is my little carb kid. And, the prep diet for SIBO is literally like chicken, turkey, or fish. She wouldn't eat any of that. White bread. So she ate like a day of white bread. That's what she did.
Eggs.
Did she like it? No, by the end of the day, she was over white bread.
So you're going to just make her do it once in a while to get her off the carbs?
Totally.
I don't think you need to treat anything more. She's doing fine.
I'm not sure I want to treat anything more.
It was probably secondary to
Have it on the back burner. I mean, that's sort of how I handle these things, is like, if there's a lot coming through, but people start to feel better, if it comes back, I know what I'm going to do.
Yep.
But let people live their life. Because these treatments aren't easy. They're expensive. And for a little one, especially.
Yep.
That's a big ask.
I mean, thank God she can swallow pills.
Yeah.
Like that would be harder if the kid couldn't swallow pills.
Totally. Those patients are hard.
Yep. And so, okay, so I have a different patient who he had elevated fungus, and I started him on an antifungal, and he had this massive, very, very severe die-off reaction from the antifungal, like way
fluconazole.
No, itraconazole. Way crazier than anything I've ever seen. A reaction not at all expected, not common.
Psychological?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so I talked to Dr. Kapadia about it, and her response was, I wonder what got when you took away the fungus. I wonder what.
Well, because the symptoms were like way far into the course of the medication. Usually die off is like in the beginning part,
like
the first week
couple
or
of
two.
days?
Yeah. or at least the first week or so,
Okay.
not like several weeks to a month in. So I was like, I don't think it's from the
It's
medication.
usually something moved into that niche.
Probably that was my best guess, unless it was a
Wow.
very unusual drug reaction.
So I'm
Yeah.
just
You know?
wondering if one of the things that I should be thinking about is if they, because if I'm on itraconazole, I've done nystatin, it hasn't worked. I've done fluconazole, it hasn't worked.
Right.
So now I'm up to iatraconazole. They're still symptomatic.
Yeah.
He had symptoms of abdominal pain, constipation, reflux, bloating, like all of the SIBO negative, SIFO positive,
Yep.
all the symptoms. And so if it hasn't worked, probably I should have done a stool test to see if there's something else
Like
in
a
there.
protozoa or something.
Right, to see
Yeah.
if there's a protozoa in there. And B, maybe those are patients that I should definitely be using broad spectrum herbals with.
Yeah, just so then that way, if there's other things going on, you know.
You're not pairing your antifungals with herbs?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But by the time I'm at iatraconazole,
Yeah.
I've done the herbs.
Yeah.
I've done my antifungal parade.
So you would think broad spectrum anti-parasitic herbs.
Or get a stool test.
Or get a stool
Yeah.
test. I probably should be looking at a stool test.
Yeah.
I think that would have been the solution because I'm clearly missing something.
Did you treat a biofilm?
Always. Okay, so,
For Candida?
I, for a long time, was using hemicellulase
Yeah.
to treat biofilms.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I got what the data showed me I was going to
Yeah.
get. I don't know if I got enough traction on
Yeah,
it.
I don't think I did either.
That's the problem. I'm now playing around with N-acetylcysteine
Okay.
as an antibiofilm.
What about
'cause it's so,
nattokinase?
God, it's such an interesting herb. Tell me about it.
That one I think actually has data for fungus biofilms.
I've been
Nattokinase?
playing around with that one.
Yeah.
There's like a combo product that has, I think it has a little hemicellulase and nattokinase and a
Like
couple
100
other-
milligrams of nattokinase?
I don't know off the
Okay.
top of my head,
Okay.
but we'll compare notes in a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
to
I mean,
see.
I'd like
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, NAC doesn't hurt much.
NAC
so
is just so broad spectrum
You're
and it
doing-
pushes your detox pathways.
3 pills a day, or
I'm doing 1,200 milligrams. So
Yeah.
usually 600 milligrams pills, 2 of them per
2
day.
of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
more than that, you dry stuff out, which I'm worried about with mucous membranes.
Yeah,
Of
except
NAC.
the biofilm is often in that mucous membrane. So that's not a bad thing if you're getting for
Yeah.
biofilm effects.
Yeah,
So, so I'm trying that, but I do think I need to start, if I'm stalling out of
Yeah, I would do a stool test
I
because
think
he
it's
probably
time
has
to do a stool
protozoa.
test. Yeah.
Yeah.
because I have
Maybe
another
that's
patient
overgrowing now.
Or I have another patient who I'm treating very similar story, fungus I can't get rid of. He's been on nystatin with another doctor for like 3 or 4 years. Now he's with me. We do Tyflucan. And actually I sent him over to my colleague who does a lot of Lyme, and he found Lyme with him.
Okay.
And so
that's why
he's
it's-
working on treating
Yeah.
Lyme.
Yeah, that'll help.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So, I mean, and it's not
help.
Lyme. I think it's it's the co-infections.
Yikes.
So it's like nothing happens in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes treating all the things together
yeah,
could be useful.
totally. And sometimes it's too much for the person.
And sometimes it's too
you
Yeah.
much.
just have to layer it. But you do get lucky sometimes if you pick the right one to start with.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
you're just getting better with that one thing, even though you only thought you were treating the one thing.
Yeah. So I get, and like, I don't always think it's indicated. Like, honestly, for my daughter,
Right. She didn't need all the treatment.
I don't think,
Yeah.
well, I don't even think she needed all the testing.
Yeah.
I,
She just-
I was just like, I have access to the testing.
Yeah.
Like maybe not the SIBO.
I'm wondering if I should have, she had a lot of bloating
Yeah.
and distension. And so I'm
Right.
wondering if, like, that's why I was going to start with the SIBO.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I might as well just do the stool testing too.
Yeah. Do you ever do stool testing and then just assume it's SIBO if that's pretty clear?
If I get an elevated zonulin,
Yeah.
if I have like insufficiency dysbiosis that
Yeah.
comes up, I might be thinking a little bit towards
Yeah.
SIBO.
Staph and strep elevations can indicate more small bowel pathology too on that test, but they can also be biofilmy.
Yeah,
You
and
know, so-
I mean, unfortunately, let's be honest, what we're seeing in that stool test is large bowel pathology.
right.
Like you can't extrapolate. Your small intestine has more microbiome relation to the small intestine of a mouse
Yeah.
than it has to your own large intestine.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's
you
hard
cannot,
to sample the.
you can't extrapolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a fair extrapolation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
sort of clues.
Yeah.
That's sort of how I look at it, but yeah. And in those cases, I would really consider herbs
Mm-hmm.
because we're going
Right.
to get more. And
Yeah.
if there is yeast, there is other stuff we didn't pick up. Like,
Or you know what else, guys? Phages.
yeah.
I don't think we've ever done we need to put phages on our episode.
put it
Have
on
we done
the
a phage
list.
Yeah,
episode?
put it on the list.
Phages are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else that we want to talk about with chronic infections like that?
Well, there's always more to talk about, but
That's
not
true.
for today.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Turds.
See you
Thanks,
next time.
Thanks for joining us today. Stay tuned. We release episodes every 2 weeks.
If you like this episode, please subscribe and don't forget to rate and review us to help spread the turd nerd word.